Welcome to Intuitive Transformations with your host, Sylvia Henderson, and discover tools, wisdom, and inspiration that will empower you to transform your life. Sylvia is an intuitive life coach and energy healer with a growing practice that is focused on empowering others to be more of who they want to be. For the next hour, join Sylvia and explore and unravel anything in the way of you creating the life that you would love to live on the OMTimes Radio Network.
Hello and welcome to the Intuitive Transformations radio show, where you will find tools that you can use to transform your life. I'm Sylvia Henderson, your host, and you are listening to the ultra clear sound of OMTimes radio on iom.fm, where you can find the sound of consciousness 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And you'll find me here every Sunday evening at 6 p.m. Pacific time and 9 p.m. Eastern time. So I would like to thank you so much for tuning in and for listening to tonight's very special and unique show. I firmly believe, I really do, that no one is here, not one of you is here by accident. Every one of you listening to this evening's show is here by design. There is something that you will hear that will be impactful and that will provide you with something that you can use to transform your life. Because tonight I am honored to have an absolutely amazing guest join me. His accomplishments and his vision and his work is truly remarkable. His name is Guy Joseph Ale, and he is the founding president of Lifespan Seminar, located in Southern California. Now, Guy is known as the Lifespan Guy, and if you have not yet heard of Lifespan Seminar, well, you definitely will want to stay tuned, because Guy is what one would call a global visionary. He is well versed in how best to extend one's lifespan using natural methods. In addition to being the president of Lifespan Seminars, Guy is the vice president of the Asia Pacific Association of Psychology. He also serves as the Secretary General of the Chamber of Chartered Behavior Scientists and is an esteemed council member of the International Council of Professional Therapists. Guy, along with his organization, Lifespan Seminar, has received many awards and accolades, including the Innate in Psychological Science Award at the International Conference on Psychology in 2011, the Best of Beverly Hills Award in 2013, and last year in 2014 as well, and the 2014 Best of Los Angeles Business Award in the Life Coach category. Guy is also a member of the International High IQ Society. He has lived in 4 different countries on 3 different continents, and he speaks 4 different languages. Guy also serves as a Goodwill Ambassador of Sri Lanka at the United Nations Friendship Organization. And in October of last year, the National Council of American Executives named Guy among the top-ranked U.S. executives for 2014. And now, that is not all. He is also the author of A Manual for Mastering Your Life, and he has a forthcoming book which is entitled Live Your Longest Life, Discover Practical Tools to Help You Optimize Your Lifespan Potential. So it's pretty easy for you to see why he is called the Lifespan Guy. This is clearly his focus and his expertise. You see, Guy has been able to combine the ancient wisdom of Eastern philosophies with the latest discoveries of Western-led science to develop the optimal lifespan system, which helps individuals to live their longest and healthiest life using natural means. It is also important to note that Guy works with private and corporate clients in the U.S., Europe, as well as Asia. And so, without further ado, I hope you will join me by opening your warm hearts and welcoming Guy Joseph Ale to this evening's show. Welcome, Guy, and thank you so much for joining us tonight.
Well, it is my pleasure to join you and your listeners, Sylvia, and thank you for that kind introduction.
Well, it certainly is well deserved, and I hope that you are having a wonderful evening.
I really am.
Fabulous. So, before we jump into our topic for this evening, which is understanding innate intelligence and universal wisdom, I would really love for you to share a little bit about your organization Lifespan Seminar with the OMTimes listeners.
Sure, Sylvia. So, Lifespan Seminar, on the most immediate level, we help people to live their longest and healthiest life. We work with private clients and organizations, spiritual centers, and corporations in the States and abroad. We conduct stress management workshops. When we work with, for example, salespeople at corporations, we help them deal with the daily stress that happens on the phones. Stress basically is a natural occurrence that we all experience on a daily basis.
Yes.
So we give very practical little exercises that can relieve stress right then and there at the desk, on the walk, on a lunch break, etc. So that's what we do on the most immediate level. The larger, our unique research at Lifespan Seminar has been that we help people, we basically teach people how to sense how long they can live. And now, what would be the benefit of that? The benefit of that would be is like driving a car without a fuel gauge, really. So we can drive a car without a fuel gauge, but when we know how much gas is in the tank, obviously, then it gives us a higher control over our vehicle. Now, in vehicles, now it is so obvious. We could not even imagine to drive a car or buy a car without a fuel gauge. However, that wasn't always the fact. My very first vehicle was this very, very cool VW Beetle from 1957. It was the coolest little car, with a folding roof and all. I fell in love with it. And it did not have a fuel gauge.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, so in 57, they still did not have fuel gauges. It had a little lever, and when the main tank would basically empty, it would choke a little bit, and you knew that you had a little spare tank with maybe a gallon of gas to go, and then you would go to the gas station to fill up. So same thing applies. We here, our research for the past 23 years indicates that sensing how long we can live is a latent capacity in us, and we help people access that capacity with body consciousness techniques. And again, this gives us more control over our own mind and body and helps us go through life with a higher mastery of our entire instrument.
So I have two questions for you. The first one is, you referenced a 1957 VW Beetle, and I've seen a photo of you, and I'm like, how could this young looking man have owned a car that was made in 1957? Is part of what you do a youthing process as well? And then my other question for you is, you said that you teach people how to gauge how long that they can live. And I'm just curious, once they get that information, is there any way that you give them the ability to then elongate that time that they've been able to determine is the accurate time for how long that their lifespan would be?
Sure, very, very valid questions, both of them. So to answer the first one first, the Beetle, the 1957 Beetle, was older than me.
Okay, good.
I was born 1960, so I'm almost 55 years old. So it was an older car that I fell in love with. So that's that. Now, the more important question, that number, first of all, that number, nobody can tell you how long you can live. Only you can understand that, only you can access that specific number by going inside your mind body, accessing your intuition and sensing that number. And that is done through a series of increasingly higher awareness exercises that we help our clients. However, that number is a potential. It is not a guarantee. It is not, there is no authority that hands you a big certificate that says you're going to live 89 years and 120 days, right?
Right.
It's potential that we might be able to sustain if we make certain choices. So we divide this program. As I mentioned earlier, we help people access that the biological foundation of this phenomenon, Sylvia, is that every living organism has an optimal duration of existence. This also answers your other question.
Mm-hmm.
The optimal duration of existence refers to the maximum amount of years that every living organism can live under the most favorable conditions.
So I want you to hold that thought for just a moment, because in a few seconds we're going to move into a break. And I know that you and I had discussed maybe experiencing one of your exercises. That's probably not one of the advanced ones, but something that everybody can appreciate and utilize today. Is that correct?
Yes, but maybe if you like, we could explain this a little bit more, and maybe the following break we can come back with a little breathing exercise. If you like.
That sounds perfect. As I hear the music now, we're getting ready to move into a break. And so please, everyone, stay tuned, because we're going to have more from Guy and learn more about what Lifespan Seminar can provide.
The future of internet radio is here. OMTimes Radio, IOM FM. Being a radio host on IOM FM allows you to build your show on a rich platform with the power of the internet to fulfill your outreach goals and connect with a very specialized and global online audience, unlimited by time and distance. OMTimes Radio will provide you with web relevance, a recognizable conscious brand, and with the standard of excellence that has accompanied every single OMTimes endeavor. Host your show with OMTimes Radio Network. Join Elliot Jolish, the business therapist, each Tuesday at 5 p.m. Eastern for the Elliot Jolish Hour, as he interviews business experts on your behalf. And you're invited to email your business questions to questions@ecjgroup.com for answers, live, on air every Tuesday at 5 p.m. Eastern on the Elliot Jolish Hour.
Know what to do, just can't figure out how to fit it all into your busy life? It doesn't have to be that way. Hi, I'm Ellen Baisberg from Seamless Life. Join me every Wednesday at 9 p.m. Eastern on OMTimes Radio and learn the how of conscious living. Let me and my guests help make your life seamless.
As difficult as it is to believe, there are places in Africa where human traffickers sell albino children and their body parts for use in magic rituals. Humanity Healing International is actively working in Uganda to change this paradigm. The Albino Rescue Project finds albino children who are at risk and places them in safe schools and environments where they can learn and grow free from fear. To learn more or to sponsor a child, visit humanityhealing.org. Humanity Healing is where your heart is. The best of the holistic, spiritual, and conscious world. OMTimes Radio, IOM FM.
Well, welcome back, everyone. Before the break, we were talking with Guy Joseph Ale, and he was explaining some of the things that they do at Lifespan. The real focus is to train individuals on how to determine or to discover the longevity of their lives. And he was before he went to the. I mean, this is a fascinating concept for me that we can actually, like you said, identify our lifespan or become aware of the duration of our lifespan and then live from that point of view. So I would love for you to further provide some more information about that.
Absolutely. I'd love to, Sylvia. So you asked about whether it's possible to prolong. Yes, of course. We approach it from the parameters of understanding what the maximum potential is. So in my personal example, I have known for a long time that if I make correct choices in my life, I'm going to live 102 years. Again, this is a potential that might come true if I treat my mind and body correctly, if I don't abuse my body, if I know how to deal with stress, if I don't carry resentments, if I don't abuse my body in many, many different ways. So in terms of lengthening your lifespan, what happens from the medical point of view, as we said, we all have a certain amount of life that is allotted to us according to our genes. For example, as we said, every living organism, for example, shrews, the little animal, and the whales, they both have about 1.5 billion heartbeats in a lifetime, but a shrew lives about 2 years, and a whale approximately lives about 80 years.
Oh, interesting. It's just that one heart beats slower than the other. Is that what you're saying?
Right. They operate at different frequencies. You touched it right away because obviously you're very attuned to this kind of thing. So they simply operate at different frequencies. So the shrew uses up its energy a lot quicker, and the whale's heart goes boom, boom, boom. So it conserves, it spreads its energy. So we humans, unlike animals, we have the capacity to understand our optimal lifespan, and then we also have the capacity, obviously, to have the behaviors that will enable us to leave that number out. In terms of how to prolong lifespan, the habits, the lifestyle choices that shorten our potential lifespan are the usual suspects that most of us know about it. For example, lifelong smoking shortens our lifespan by about 10 years. Lifelong obesity can cost us about 7 years. Stress, chronic stress, can cost us about 8 years. Being a couch potato, not giving activity to our body, can cost us about 9 years of our potential lifespan.
Wow.
And having junk food as our regular diet can also cost us up to 10 years.
I totally believe that. There's no nutrition in junk food whatsoever. Well, this is amazingly fascinating. I liked how you didn't just say it's about how you treat the body, it's also how you treat your mind as well. I know that that's one of my key focuses is really watching those self-limiting, those negative, lower vibrational belief systems that I feel literally drain the energy out of the body. How does this relate to innate intuition? Is this part of the vehicle that you use to ascertain what your potential lifespan is?
Wonderful, wonderful question, really. So as far as intuition, the latest research in neuroscience about intuition, we have a colleague, he is a Harvard neuroscientist, his name is Rudolf Tanzi. So his research indicates that intuition is the next big part of the brain that is evolving as it relates to the mind. So first it was the instinctive brain, followed by the emotional brain, followed by the intellectual brain, and now the next stage of evolution is the intuitive brain. So in this perspective, intuition is not just a reflexive behavior like animals have, but intuition is a culmination of all our qualities of vision, awareness, self-knowledge, and knowledge of the world, basically mind, body, and soul.
Mm-hmm.
To open this a little bit again, and you will obviously resonate with this, Sylvia, we, human species, are we are a product in progress. We have not reached our final form. We
Right.
keep evolving. We keep evolving just like the universe keeps evolving.
Mm-hmm.
And because we have not reached our final form, obviously we have so much more to discover because after all, the brain contains roughly 86 billion neurons, nerve cells, and we need to understand how this extremely incredible and complex and intelligent system operates. And this is what neuroscience and epigenetics and neuroplasticity are contributing these very days in understanding what we are capable of.
That is awesome. I mean, I love that you mentioned epigenetics because I have to say Bruce Lipton is one of my heroes. He's the one that got me on the path of really understanding the neurology within the cells of our body, even. And so this innate intuition that we're evolving into, and you're saying this on a global scale. It's, I've always been kind of naturally intuitive. I think everyone is, always has been, but it's been something that has been taught out of us and not nurtured. So I think that we've always kind of had that capacity to step into that. And so, in terms of the universal intelligence, are you saying that we can use this innate intuition to then tap into wisdom beyond what what we currently are aware of? I mean, I know that I can see things that are happening in somebody's past or something like that, but can you elaborate on that and what the connection is? Are they interrelated, and if so, how?
Absolutely, absolutely. So this innate intuition is really universal intelligence because where does this innate intuition come from? In order to answer that question solidly, we need to understand, first of all, where do we come from? So we, the human race, every atom in our body is made from the atoms from planet Earth. And planet Earth is made of the ash that had been released during the Big Bang, which happened 13.8 billion years ago. This is what we as science know right now. At this point in 2015, this is the furthest we understand the origins of life and the nature of existence.
Gotcha.
So we are made of the same material that planet Mars and planet Earth and everything in the universe is made of. This is our building material, the energy and the matter, this cosmic consciousness. The latest findings of superstring theory are that consciousness is the foundation of the universe. That field that contains all the intelligence, the balance, the harmony of the world, that's the foundation of the cosmos. If that is the foundation of the cosmos, that's also the foundation of us.
Yes.
So by reaching and accessing our innate intuition, we are accessing universal intelligence. That's the intelligence that regulates that the planets are aligned just correctly, that temperatures are just adjusted perfectly to provide conditions for life. So the same harmony that we see outside, we also see in our body. Now, very quickly, I will tell you, we are invited all over the world, from Sweden to Sri Lanka. We've been invited twice to Sri Lanka. We are going to Chandigarh, India, later on in the year. And when we present in Asia, we basically say that each one of us, we contain the universe within us. So when they hear that in Asia, they say, of course, because they have been brought up on that tradition. They understand that each one of us is an autonomous little planet. We contain the universe within us. It is in the West that the old science, the Newtonian science of hard particles, it separated the mind and the spirit from the body. And that's why in the West, people have been, our tradition, our scientific tradition has been so hard, so material. However, it's coming around slowly because of epigenetics and because of the emerging science of consciousness. And we're understanding that energy is really the foundation of the physical world.
Oh my God, we are so on the same page. I love this. I've been teaching traditional Chinese medicine at a massage school, and I was telling them how brilliant the five element of Chinese medicine, how it emulates the seasons and the universe and the microcosm of us as a universe. And so and everything is energy. Everything is energy.
Yeah.
So I want to ask you this. When you're saying that this innate intuition, it accesses this universal intelligence which everything is made of, this one vibrational kind of energy source. So is it that we are remembering, or what are we doing when we're stepping into that innate intuition? Is it that we're remembering what is, or is it like an unveiling, or is it that we're seeing? I'm not even sure how to articulate this. Does this make sense to
No,
you?
you're going, obviously, you're going in the right direction, and you're asking the questions that are being asked. The second one, unveiling, is really the more correct one, because it's, you contain information of 13.8 billion years of evolution. This is the wisdom that you carry in your genes. This is your history. But that's not the only information that your genes carry. Your genes also carry all the potential of the future. Just like what the universe carries, all the premise of the promise of the future, so does your body, because you are a capsule of creation. So you access that wisdom, you access that large mental canvas of what's possible within the laws of nature.
Beautiful. So we're going to head into another break, Guy. And when we come back, let's continue this conversation, because this is amazing. I love it. So everyone, stay tuned. We'll be back in just a few moments.
The best of holistic, spiritual, and conscious world. OMTimes Radio. IOM FM. Being a radio host on IOM FM allows you to build your show on a rich platform with the power of the internet to fulfill your outreach goals and connect with a very specialized and global online audience, unlimited by time and distance. OMTimes Radio will provide you with web relevance, a recognizable conscious brand, and with the standard of excellence that has accompanied every single OMTimes endeavor. Host your show with OMTimes Radio Network.
Hi, I'm Katrina Kavanagh, host of the I Am Wisdom radio show. I Am Wisdom is about the connection between mind work and energy work, spirituality, and living a wonderful life. Looking forward to sharing each Sunday, 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time with you.
Circle of Hearts Radio is a sanctuary on the airwaves. Join me, Grandmother Alaya, in the circle on Sunday, 2 p.m. Eastern, as I share information to both enlighten and nourish your soul.
What if business could be fun? What if business is the adventure of living? What are you choosing? Where do you do business that makes it easier, more fun, or more joyful for you? We'd love to see where you do business. Connect with us on Instagram at Joy of Business or Twitter at Joy of Business, and share your pictures with hashtags BusinessDoneWhere and Joy of Business. Let's change the world with business. Connecting you with the best of the conscious minds in the world. OMTimes Radio. IOM FM.
Welcome back. This is Sylvia Henderson on Intuitive Transformations, and I am having a joyful conversation here with Guy Joseph Ale. And I have to tell you, I am so impressed with your wealth of knowledge and the wisdom and the insight that you are bringing to the table, Guy. I know that you can talk about everything from the body and cosmic consciousness to the infinite potential of all of existence. And it was really tough to even narrow down the choice and zero in on this topic that we're discussing now, which is understanding innate intuition and universal intelligence. So I've got my fingers and toes crossed that you will sincerely consider maybe coming back another time on the show so that we can delve a little deeper into the wealth of knowledge that you possess.
Well, I'd be delighted, Sylvia. Really, we can just look at our schedules, and absolutely, I'm also really enjoying our conversation. I think that you obviously are approaching this from a very, very strong foundation. So yes, I would be delighted to visit you again.
Wonderful, wonderful. Now, before we went to the break, we were talking about how there is this unveiling process that's happening in terms of us being able to access this information that is over 13.8 billion years old in terms of from when the Big Bang happened across all space and time to now in this present moment, that we have the ability to access and ascertain and tap into that information and wisdom. And could you tell us, so how do you see this evolving? I know that you said that intuition is the next big evolution of the mind, and I'm super excited about that. But how do you foresee that changing the way things are today? How do you see the future changing as a result?
Well, I gotta tell you, that strikes very, very close to me personally because of, and also what we do at Lifespan Seminar. So we use all these exciting, extremely exciting breakthroughs, scientific breakthroughs, as we said, in neuroplasticity, epigenetics, superstring theory. But our mission is to be very practical. So we want to apply all this mind-blowing and wonderful ideas into everyday life. So our mission is to help our clients to live their longest and healthiest life. So I want to use all that into simple daily tools which will enable my clients to live their longest, healthiest, most fulfilled life. And we do that. So again, let's get practical and bring it down to the everyday life. So neuroplasticity, let's mention neuroplasticity. So the most fascinating discovery of neuroplasticity is that, as we mentioned briefly, our brain contains roughly 86 billion nerve cells. Scientists believed that the brain stopped the process of connecting between the cells at around the age of 4. However, research since the beginning of the 20th century, and this is really happening as we speak, in the last 20, 15 years, since the beginning of the 21st century, new studies are showing that the brain is changing constantly through our entire lifespan. Because of different stimuli, such as exercise, injury, stimulation, through our entire lifespan. Now, what does that mean? Again, in practical terms, that means that we can learn from past mistakes and apply those lessons into our future life. So tomorrow is not yesterday. We don't have to carry forward bad habits only because we have done them in the past. So even if you smoked for 25 years, and many people fall into this self-defeating, unfortunately, self-defeating pattern of thinking that health it's all or nothing. No, that's really wrong. Small changes, begin small, tiny little baby steps, they make a lifetime of wellness. So even if you smoked for 25 years, quit today. After a year, your chances of heart disease drop significantly. So the changes are both immediate and very, very significant. If small adjustments in in our food consumption, in understanding what makes for good nutrition, small changes in keeping a more active lifestyle. These are all little things that are now based in science that we know that they can help us live the longest and healthiest life.
Right. So these small changes is very encouraging, and I loved how you said it changes the trajectory because I had once heard that a slight change in a rocket's trajectory will send it off miles in a different direction. And so making these small changes then um, sends their health into a more positive direction, a radically positive direction over time. Is that correct?
Very, very true. And we are talking about these little changes, and that's a wonderful analogy because now a tiny little diversion in the course, 5 years down the road, it translates, it's exponential. So the angle widens and widens and widens. So a change that we make now, like quitting smoking, and again, it's very, very important for us here at Lifespan Seminar to keep it very practical and very useful. So I'm speaking from experience. I am someone who had smoked for 15 years, at least a pack a day, and then I quit 25 years ago. So it's doable, and I'm not the only one, obviously, but I'm able, obviously, to share my little tools with our clients to show them that it is possible. And again, these little changes make a lifetime of difference.
So the changes that people make, they're habits, right? I mean, people that eat junk food, it's a habit. So there's an emotional component that's driving the behavior. Smoking is not only an emotional habit, but it's also a physical addiction because of the chemicals and the nicotine that are in the cigarettes. So do you help people break those addictive patterns? It's not just educating them into making these small changes. Are you using something or how are you helping them to be successful at making these small changes?
Yes, yes. So of course, both things. It begins by awareness. Awareness on a very, very gut level to first of all understand what's going on. And in the case of smoking, it's a crucial step is really deciding to quit, really getting sick of being sick, and really making that decision that I hate how what this poison does to me, and I'm really ready to quit. So that decision must be reached for you to be successful. And again, we can help, I can help, and our team helps, but the final work is always done with the person. And then it takes behavior modification. And in terms of smoking, you cannot simply get rid of a habit and move on with your life because that creates a vacuum. So one of the most beneficial systems is to substitute that vacuum with a good habit. So instead of smoking, one of them is picking up a physical activity that you like, or doing something as in terms of physical activity, a hand activity, so that again that vacuum that is created in your life is substituted by something fun and meaningful.
I see. So it's basically they need to have a replacement behavior, right, to fill in the gap. So when you're working with individuals and say they don't have a lot of these extra habits, like they eat a generally healthy diet, they don't smoke, they don't drink in excess or at all, and they come to your center and they say, I understand that you can help me determine my lifespan. Maybe they have a genetic predisposition to something that I know in Western medicine, there's a lot of belief systems around being predisposed to certain illnesses and certain diseases. And so, say someone comes into Lifespan Seminar and they either have that or maybe they don't even have that. What would be the first thing that they would expect?
Well, the first thing that we do is we conduct a series of really consultations. really, because we also want to, a very, very important question is the question of why do you want to live longer? What is the reason for you to want to live longer? And second of all, we also require a thorough medical exam because, again, this is an individual number. This is an individual process. Everyone has a different optimal duration of existence. So we require that everyone does a thorough medical exam and also look into their family's longevity history. However, all this not to determine your optimal lifespan, but to give you a background to have more tools to work with. But here comes the wonderful new field of epigenetics and biological research, which shows that the relationship between our genes and our lifestyle choices in determining our approximate lifespan is 30% to 70% in favor of lifestyle choices.
Really?
To me, I mean, I have been doing this now for decades, and that number, whenever I see that equation, which has been proven over and over and over again these are conservative numbers, it still runs chills down my neck because what we inherit, so many people, you mentioned this Western medical predisposition that my aunt died of cancer at 38 or 42, so I am predisposed, or my dad was overweight, so I'm predisposed. 30%, only 30%. Our genes are only a blueprint, and we decide how to translate that blueprint into the quality and the quantity of life by the choices we make in our daily lives. And also, and this is where the mind and the spirit come in the picture, also by our larger approach to life. How do we approach life? Are we going through life as a victim? Are we carrying anger and resentment and baggage?
All of that emotional stuff is definitely a big player when it comes to the lifespan, I'm sure. We're going to take another break, and when we return, we're going to continue this conversation with Guy Joseph L. I hope you've been enjoying it as much as I have. Stay tuned. We will be right back.
Feed your soul with Waves of Consciousness on OMTimes Radio. Host your show on IOM-FM, the radio network of OMTimes Media, one of the more recognized brand names in the conscious community, and is backed by the extensive marketing reach of OMTimes. Hosting a show on IOM-FM immediately connects you with our extensive dedicated community.
The truth is, you can't change the world if you're broke. I know, I tried. Isn't it time you turned your life's calling into a profitable, freedom-based business? I'm Michelle Barr. Join me every Thursday at 2 p.m. Eastern for Sacred Success.
The Laying On of Hands Healing Radio Show is about treating the whole person, mind, body, and spirit. Join me, Charles Smith, as I share life-balancing measures such as nutrition and spiritual practices to help you take charge of your own health and wellness every Thursday at 7 p.m. on OMTimes Radio.
Are you trying to get from point A to point B and need a little advice? Connect with the counselors at OMTimes Advisors. Whether you're looking for a life coach or a spiritual intuitive, the advisors participating at advisors.omtimes.com were carefully chosen based on their gifts, skills, and professionalism. OMTimes Advisors, connecting you with the best advisors in the business. Bringing a more conscious lifestyle to your world. OMTimes Radio. IOM-FM.
Well, welcome back. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. This is Sylvia Henderson on Intuitive Transformations on OMTimes Radio, and we have had a phenomenal conversation here with Guy Joseph Ale. We have discussed everything from lifespan seminar, the work he's doing, innate intelligence, the wisdom of all of creation that we have access to, and that you can actually determine your potential lifespan. And before we went to the break, we were talking about neuroplasticity, epigenetics, the fact that there's 86 billion nerve cells in the brain, which I did not know that. That's amazing. And I want people to know how they can contact you, Guy. Can you please share your contact information if someone is interested in learning more about you and maybe being able to access the services that you provide through Lifespan Seminar? Could you please share how they can best get in touch with you?
Sure. The website of Lifespan Seminar is just that, www.lifespanseminar.com, lifespanseminar.com. We can be reached at info@lifespanseminar.com. Our phone number is on the website, and in fact, I'm having so much fun, Sylvia, that any one of the listeners, they're welcome to visit our website. And if they would like any one of our products, please drop an email to us, mention Sylvia's name as today's show, and you will get a 50% discount on any one of our products.
Wow, that is pretty generous. Thank you so much. So, listeners, I tell you, take advantage of this. This is cutting edge. This is really cutting edge. And, you know, I just feel that this is the beginning of what we're going to see as we move forward into this new world that we're embarking into. So many things are changing. Everything that Guy has shared, I have to say that even from spiritual aspects of it, it just all rings so true. I mean, there is no reason why we can't have full and complete access to the information, even the knowledge base of our own cells. So I wanted you to talk a little bit more about the human body and the celestial body and cosmic consciousness. I mean, what does that mean that the human body is a celestial body? Is that just that we've gathered these cells from across all time and space?
Well, to again revisit that earlier premise that we are made of the same energy and matter, same building blocks as everything else in the cosmos. On the as ridiculous as this may sound, on a molecular level, Sylvia, there is no difference between you, I, the desk, this computer, the phone line, or the wall. It's molecularly, it's all the same stuff.
Is it just about different frequencies then?
Exactly right. Exactly
Okay.
right. And yeah, and in fact, the latest, the wonderful, bizarre world of superstring theory indicates, so superstring theory, which is a continuation of quantum physics, is we continue to go deeper and deeper to reveal the origins of life. What is life made of?
Mm-hmm.
So superstring theory shows us that everything is made of particles. Particles contain atoms and molecules. Molecules contain two or more atoms. Atoms contain protons, neutrons, and electrons. Protons contain neutrons and quarks. Quarks contain no more matter, but strings of vibration, pure energy.
So now I remember from science going down to the neutrons, but this quarks is new to me.
Exactly. Quarks is new. And what the quarks, so we go down, we go deeper still, So neutrons contain quarks.
Mm-hmm.
That's the smallest unit that we know. And when we look into the quarks, quarks contain no more matter, but pure energy. We see vibrating strings, hence the name of this science, superstring theory. It's beautiful, it's wonderful. So we see, so these are strings of vibration, pure potential. So the essence of life, as far as we understand in cutting edge science, the latest science tells us that the source of life is energy and information. That's
Wow.
such a so this is the source of you and the cosmos. And because of that, you and Melissa and myself, we are contained autonomous little planets moving, rotating with the planet Earth, which is rotating. So Earth is a much larger planet. I am a smaller planet, but the same information that I am made of planet Earth. So the same information that planet Earth contains, my body also contains. So in that sense, my body is a celestial body moving through space with the other celestial bodies, made of the same material of energy and information. And because of that, because it is energy and information, energy, we teach identifying our energy. What energy, how much energy, and what quality of energy we contain. And information, we keep discovering the vast amounts of information that we contain and the outer world contains. It's an interconnected, really, adventure of discovery. So the more we understand ourselves, the more we understand the universe, and vice versa.
Okay, so I'm literally sitting here with my mouth open because this is spellbinding information. This is amazing. So then let me ask you this, because you're saying that, but you know, that there's the quarks, and then within that is energy and information. Do you think that we will be able to harness that information in terms of being able to direct it? Because right now you're at that cutting edge of being able to determine the potential lifespan, but thoughts are also it's just energy and information without physical form, correct?
Of course, thought is a very, very potent form of energy, and in fact, it's a very strong field of energy that our brains are energy fields that send out information in terms of thought and expectation constantly. So we influence the world that we live in through our thoughts and expectations.
Right, which is what all, ancient texts have taught about forever. So, but it's still it's okay. So here's the thing, because we also have this storage bay called our subconscious mind, with all of these other thoughts or beliefs that are rolling around that we may not be consciously aware of. So my question is more, do you think we'll be able to tap into being able to clean up the debris within there so our lives work better?
Well, I think that we are in a process of doing it slowly.
Mm,
This is what these wonderful breakthroughs, scientific insights give us, understanding. And we were invited a couple of years ago to give presentation at Stockholm University at the conference that is called Toward the Science of Consciousness. Currently, there is no science of consciousness as a discipline in academia, like there is medicine or
right.
philosophy. However, there is so much wonderful, fascinating stuff happening in terms of consciousness in the world that many people, scholars and researchers, us including, there is a growing sense of we need to tackle this consciousness and understand this profound mystery of what it is. So we are in the process of making these steps, And we all approach it from different angles. Our expertise at Lifespan Seminar is to approach it from the body consciousness side. So to make it very, very practical and see how we apply these wonderful, fancy ideas into improving our daily lives.
Well, I am just so grateful that you had time in your schedule to be on my show this evening, because this has been a very thought-provoking and very expansive consciousness conversation that I know our listeners have thoroughly enjoyed. I know I have thoroughly enjoyed it. It's just been absolutely remarkable. We are coming up on the end of our time together. And I just want to thank you so much, Guy, for taking the time to be on the show. This has been absolutely wonderful. I want to remind the listeners that there is an opportunity for you to utilize the tools and the products that they have at Lifespan Seminar for a 50% discount if you mention my name, Sylvia, which is just spelled Sylvia. That's pretty easy. Or I'm sure they'd probably do it if you put intuitive transformations on there as well, as long as there's some kind of information that identifies how you heard about Lifespan Seminar. And before we end the show completely, I do want to remind people that if you do go to the Lifespan Seminar website, there's some great videos on there, and there are some actual demos of Guy working with some people in terms of how they monitor their breathing. So take advantage of that. I'm sure that there'll be plenty for you to learn. So thank you for listening, everyone. Have a really phenomenal week. Know that you are powerful beyond your imagination, and love to you. Take care and come back next week for more.